Hey guys, welcome back to another video from Hoops Empire. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the top 5 duos in the NBA and how those duos have impacted their teams. Before I start, I just want to say that I do not have any combination of Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets. I just feel that it's a little bit too subjective to pick a duo out of a trio, so I'm just going to leave them out of this list. But for any Nets fans, just know that they are by far the best trio in the league. So, getting into it, the number 5 best duo in the league is Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. This season, to the surprise of many, the 76ers have been one of the best teams in the entire NBA, and have held the number 1 seed in the East for all but 2 days. This has been in large part to All-Star starting center Joel Embiid, who is having a career year, posting 31 points per game and 11 rebounds per game on almost 50-40-90 shooting, which is absolutely insane. Imagine telling someone 15 years ago that there would be a Shaq-type player with Hakeem-like footwork shooting 40% from 3 on high volume. I think they would say that doesn't exist. But Embiid is very real and has become maybe the most dominant player in the NBA, as he should be. I have no doubt this is in part to having a competent coach in Doc Rivers, who lets Embiid get in the post and go to work, something Brett Brown wouldn't do as often. Embiid is leading the NBA in post-up frequency at 35%. This is all warranted. Speaking, Embiid is over 7 feet tall and nearly 300 pounds. But, getting into his teammate Ben Simmons, who by many standards, including his own, has been having a down season, his defense, per usual, is getting better. However, his offensive game had been lacking, up until a couple nights ago. He was posting a career-low points per game, assists per game, and field goal percentage. But now, after an explosive performance versus the Jazz, posting a near 40-point triple-double, his averages are basically back to his career stats. But defense is Simmons' bread and butter. He's going to be a perennial Defensive Player of the Year candidate. With his versatility, IQ, and speed, he has the makings to be one of the best defenders the game has ever seen. As things are going now, the Sixers look like a real threat and force to be reckoned with, and maybe this year can finally be their year, on the backs of their all-star duo. Next up, the 4th best duo in the league is Giannis Antetokounmpo and Khris Middleton. Due to a recent 5-game losing streak, this duo is not getting nearly enough attention as they should be. Both of these players are playing extremely well and have led the Bucks to a top 3 seed. Their offseason acquisitions haven't been as great as previously thought, but their duo just continues to improve. Giannis has been a beast on defense, and offensively he's averaging nearly the same stats as his MVP season. However, his shooting is getting worse than last year, shooting just 27% from 3. While he is still one of the best players in the entire league, he needs to develop a jump shot, or defenses will continue to scheme him, running walls to at least slow him down come playoff time, just as the Miami Heat did in a statement series win. I have faith in Giannis, as many should. The guy is a hard worker, and I know he wants nothing more than to bring a championship to the city of Milwaukee. In terms of his partner, Khris Middleton, there is not enough praise you can give this guy. He needs to be talked about as a legitimate top 15 to 20 player in the NBA. He improves drastically every single year. He is playing the best defense of his career and has become one of the better playmakers in the entire NBA, averaging nearly 6 assists per game. He is shooting well over the 50-40-90 mark, just consistently putting the ball in the basket at an absurd rate. He has a true shooting percentage of nearly 63, being one of the most efficient shooters in the league. There should be no question about how much value he brings to the Bucks. He actually has a better on-court plus-minus than Giannis does per 100 possessions, as well as having a better offensive rating than the reigning MVP. I have a bad feeling Khris is going to get snubbed for the All-Star game, but he shouldn't. Every year, I ask, when will Middleton finally get his recognition? He's a special player, and deserves more praise than he currently receives. Moving on, the 3rd best duo is no other than the Jays, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Tatum and Brown are rapidly improving. There is no debate about who the best young duo in the league is anymore. Tatum and Brown becoming a top 3 duo in the league is probably something not many expected. And this is in large part to the explosion of Jaylen Brown. As detailed in my recent video, The Rise of Jaylen Brown, Jaylen has improved in every imaginable aspect of the game. All of his weaknesses have become strengths. Off-ball defense, shot creation, his handle, shooting off the dribble, all massively improved. He has become one of the most efficient players in the NBA, shooting well over 50% from the field and 40% from 3. His free throw shooting could use some work, but it is odd that he struggles at the line considering he's one of the best mid-range shooters in the league, shooting 15% better from mid-range than last year on nearly 3 times the attempts. Jalen is a beast. He's always been good, but now he's great. His game is so calculated, and he's improved as a playmaker when the Celtics have needed it most, and can finally carry lineups on his own. Brown, in my opinion, was snubbed as an All-Star last year, and was snubbed as an All-Star starter this year. But regardless, he's an All-Star lock. So is teammate and borderline top 10 player Jason Tatum. Tatum has improved, just like he does every year. While his defensive numbers are down a bit, his offensive numbers have taken the next step towards superstardom. He's finally becoming the playmaker he has the potential to be. And I've said in the last year, playmaking, truly making those around him better, will be the key to him becoming a true number 1 option on a championship caliber team. In just 23 games played this season, Tatum has just as many games with 6 or more assists than he has had in his career 225 games played before this season. That is just a testament to how drastically he has improved in that aspect of his game. He is just seeing the floor better, no longer being the black hole that his scouting reports said he would be. In terms of fit and success together, Tatum and Brown are some of the most experienced players in the league, which is insane speaking they are just 22 and 24 years old. They have over 100 combined played playoff games, each individually having more playoff games than 29 out of the 30 NBA teams since they have each respectively entered the league. They have each been to 2 and 3 Eastern Conference Finals, posting great numbers along the way. Hopefully, sometime soon they can capitalize on that experience and bring Boston a championship. Penultimately is the Los Angeles Clippers duo, Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. They are probably the most efficient duo in the NBA. Kawhi posting a 62% true shooting percentage, Paul George nearly in the 50-50-90 club with a staggering 67% true shooting. They are also most likely the best perimeter defensive duo in the league, both amassing all defensive teams over their careers, as well as Kawhi winning multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards. While last year did end extremely disappointingly for the Clippers, blowing a 3-1 lead in the Western Conference semis to the Nuggets, this team still has confidence as they should. Paul George is playing like he was in 2018 when he was a top 3 MVP candidate, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him end up top 10 in MVP voting this year. He and Kawhi are both shooting the best they ever have in their careers, as well as playmaking the best they ever have before, both averaging 6 assists per game. The Clippers are currently sitting at 3rd in the West, standing at 22-9. That would be good for 1st in the East, which goes to show how much better the West is than the East. I really think the Clippers are looking to prove a lot of people wrong this year. Things went as south can go last year, and I don't see that happening again. Paul George earned the nickname Wayoff P, a spin-off of Playoff P, and became a meme because of how horribly he was playing. I know he specifically is looking to prove all the doubters that he can be a meaningful cog in a championship machine. The Clippers were my finals pick last year, mostly because of this duo, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the finals this year. And coming in as the best duo in the NBA, which should be to no one's dismay, is the Los Angeles Lakers duo LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Statistically speaking, this duo may be down a little bit from last year, especially Davis, who in terms of box score is having his worst year since his sophomore year in the league. Yet LeBron is having the best shooting season of his career, and has been pretty solid defensively, still averaging a near triple-double, which just feels like a given at this point in his career. Just looking at the stats, you probably wouldn't say this is the best duo in the league, but they are still 2nd seed in the West, just 2 games behind the scorching hot Jazz. They are 22-9, which like I said before, would be good for 1st in the East. The main reason I still have them as the best duo in the league is an obvious reason. They are the reigning champions. They look like they're holding out for the playoffs. So, I'm not ready to say that they are not as good as they were before. For Davis's sake, I hope he can get healthy. If that means sitting him the whole season, including playoffs or not, they should do that. Davis is still a young player, and Achilles injuries is nothing to mess around with, as we saw with Kevin Durant. At this point in time, barring long-term injuries, I have the Lakers going back-to-back. They are too good. They signed the 2 top 6 Men of the Year candidates of the past season, and they have been the best defensive team in the league, even though their offensive acquisitions were mainly offensively based. The Lakers are just too good of a team to lose a 7-game series, in my opinion, having the 2nd best record in the NBA, and it still looks like they're not even playing to their maximum capabilities. LeBron has a serious MVP case this year, and due to narrative, there's a shot that he actually wins it in his 18th season. LeBron just became the first person to hit 35,000 points, 9,000 assists, and 9,000 rebounds, and will most likely end up as the first to ever reach the 40K, 10K, 10K mark. And in my eyes, he will go down as the GOAT when it's all said and done. Anthony Davis, on the other hand, in just 9 years in the league, is an 8-time All-Star, 4-time All-NBA player, 4-time All-Defensive player, an NBA champion, and a 3-time block champ. He's probably the best big in the NBA, even though Joel Embiid might have something to say about that this year. But one thing is for sure, LeBron and Anthony Davis should unanimously be the #1 duo in the league. Thank you guys for watching the video. Let me know if you agree with my top 5 or if there's any duos you would take out or put back in. But make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, turn on notifications, and most importantly, have a good one.